Or sometimes people don't subtly change, they simply stop hiding who they are. The signs were there in the beginning. The manipulation, the cold replies, the emotional games, the moments that made your spirit feel heavy. But when emotions are strong, people ignore red flags because they want love more than truth. A dark side doesn't always look evil. Sometimes it looks charming, attractive, confident, and irresistible. But behind the smile can be selfishness, dishonesty, and emotional control. Or the lesson is not to hate her. The lesson is to stop ignoring your intuition. Your spirit usually warns you before your heart gets broken. When someone constantly drains your peace, confuses your mind, and makes you question your worth, that darkness is already showing itself. Strong people learn to recognize energy before they become emotionally trapped. Sometimes people don't suddenly become toxic overnight. The signs were there from the beginning, but emotions made you ignore them. You saw the mood swings, the manipulation hidden behind charm, the cold behavior that appeared when things didn't go her way, but you kept convincing yourself it would get better. That is what emotions do when you become deeply attached to someone. You start defending behavior that should have warned you to leave. A dark side is not always loud or obvious. Sometimes it hides behind beauty, affection, attention, and sweet words. Sometimes the most dangerous people know exactly how to appear caring while. Or slowly draining your confidence and peace of mind. You notice how conversations always became your fault. You notice how your feelings were dismissed while her emotions controlled everything. You notice the inconsistency, the mixed signals, the silent treatments, and the emotional distance that appeared whenever you needed reassurance. Yet you stayed because you believed love could fix it. Many people stay connected to toxic situations because they fear loneliness more than emotional damage. Or they ignore intuition just to hold on to temporary affection. But deep inside, your spirit already knew something was wrong. Your anxiety increased around her. Your peace disappeared. Your confidence slowly weakened. Healthy love does not constantly leave you emotionally exhausted. Some people know how to create emotional dependency. They give attention one moment and pull away the next, keeping you confused and emotionally attached. That confusion becomes addictive because you keep chasing the version of them you first met. But the beginning was not always the truth. Sometimes people show you a perfect image until they feel secure enough to reveal their real nature. The biggest mistake is ignoring patterns because you are emotionally invested. Words can lie, but behavior always reveals character. Pain has a way of exposing truths that emotions try to hide. While you were emotionally attached, you kept seeing potential instead of reality. You focused on the good moments, the attention, the memories, and the hope that things would improve. But pain forces you to stop living in illusions. It removes emotional blindness and makes you see people for who they truly are. Sometimes heartbreak becomes the only thing powerful enough to wake you up. The betrayal, disrespect, emotional distance, and inconsistency suddenly begin to make sense after everything falls apart. You realize the signs were always there, but love made you ignore them because you wanted the connection to. Or survive. The hardest part about emotional pain is that it changes how you see yourself. You start questioning your value, your judgment, and your worth. You replay conversations in your mind, wondering what you could have done differently. But not every painful experience is meant to destroy your confidence. Some experiences are meant to strengthen your awareness. Pain teaches lessons comfort never could. It teaches you the importance of boundaries, emotional discipline, self-respect, and protecting your peace. People who never experience disappointment often remain emotionally weak because they never learn how to identify unhealthy behavior. Pain sharpens your vision and forces growth. There are moments when suffering becomes transformation. The same heartbreak that kept you awake at night can become the reason you improve your mindset, your habits, your discipline, and your standards. Some people allow pain to make them bitter, while others allow it to make them wiser. That choice determines your future. Emotional wounds can either trap you in anger or push you toward maturity. Every difficult relationship carries a hidden lesson about yourself. It reveals what you tolerated, what you ignored, and what you must never accept again. The pain did not come to end your story. It came to change the direction of your life. One of the biggest mistakes people make is confusing emotional chaos with real love. They think intense arguments, constant uncertainty, jealousy, and emotional highs and lows mean the connection is deep. But toxicity often disguises itself as passion. When someone keeps hurting you, disappointing you, manipulating your emotions, and making you feel emotionally unstable, that is not love growing stronger. That is emotional damage becoming normalized. The more you tolerate toxic behavior, the more your mind starts accepting unhealthy treatment as something normal. You begin making excuses for actions that slowly destroy your peace and confidence. People romanticize suffering because they believe fighting for someone proves loyalty. But loyalty should never require you to lose yourself. If someone constantly ignores your feelings, disappears when you need them, plays mind games, or only gives affection when it benefits them, you are not in a healthy connection. Real love does not leave you constantly confused about where you stand. It does not force you to beg for attention, reassurance, honesty, or basic respect. A healthy relationship brings emotional safety, not emotional exhaustion. When you truly care about someone, you protect their peace instead of damaging it. Many people stay trapped in toxic situations because they become addicted to temporary affection. One good moment makes them forget 10 painful ones. They hold on to memories from the beginning and keep hoping that version of the person will return permanently. But patterns reveal truth. Someone's consistent behavior matters more than their occasional promises. Words can sound beautiful while actions quietly destroy trust. You cannot heal in an environment that constantly reopens your emotional wounds. Walking away from toxicity is not weakness, it is self-respect. It takes strength to stop chasing people who continuously hurt you. The moment you stop romanticizing pain is the moment your healing truly begins. Mature people eventually understand that peace, stability, honesty, and consistency are far more valuable than temporary excitement. Mixed with emotional suffering, one painful experience can completely change the way a person sees the world. After betrayal, disappointment, or emotional manipulation, many people become colder than they used to be. They stop trusting others, stop opening up emotionally, and build walls around their heart because they are afraid of being hurt again. Pain has the power to harden people if they allow it to control them for too long. But the greatest challenge is making sure someone else's. Darkness does not create darkness inside of you. Just because someone treated you badly does not mean you should lose your kindness, your values, or your humanity. It is easy to become bitter after emotional pain. You start believing everyone has bad intentions. You begin expecting betrayal before loyalty. You become defensive even around people who genuinely care about you. But carrying anger for too long slowly poisons your own peace. The person who hurt you may move on while you remain, emotionally trapped inside resentment. Healing begins when you decide that your future will not be controlled by what happened to you. Strong people do not pretend the pain never existed, but they refuse to let it define their entire personality. Character is revealed during painful moments. Anyone can stay positive when life feels easy, but true strength appears when you choose maturity after disappointment. Choosing peace over revenge takes discipline. Choosing wisdom over bitterness takes growth. Some people hurt others because they are damaged themselves, but repeating that cycle only spreads more negativity. Real growth means ending the cycle instead of continuing it. You become stronger when you learn from pain without allowing it to destroy your spirit. There is power in remaining calm, focused, and emotionally balanced after difficult experiences. The world already has enough angry and broken people. Do not become one of them because of a single chapter in your life. Let the experience make you wiser, more aware, and more disciplined, but never allow it to turn you into someone you no longer recognize. When someone mistreats you, ignores your effort, or walks away from your life, it is easy to start questioning your own value. You begin wondering if you were not good enough, attractive enough, successful enough, or important enough to be loved correctly. Emotional pain has a dangerous way of attacking self-worth because people often connect another person's behavior to their personal value, but someone else's inability to appreciate you is not proof that you lack worth. Many people lose valuable things simply because they are too immature, damaged, distracted, or emotionally unavailable to recognize what they had. You cannot measure your value based on how one person treated you. Some people project their insecurities onto others. They manipulate, disrespect, or emotionally neglect people because they are struggling with their own emptiness inside. Their behavior reflects their character, not your worth. The mistake many people make is chasing validation from the same person who damaged their confidence. They keep trying to prove themselves worthy to someone who already showed they cannot give healthy love. That cycle destroys self-esteem because you slowly hand your emotional power to another person. Your value existed before that relationship, and it will continue to exist after it ends. A relationship should never become the foundation of or your identity. The moment you depend entirely on another person for confidence, happiness, or emotional stability, you place your self-worth in fragile hands. Strong people eventually realize that confidence must come from within. No rejection, breakup, betrayal, or disappointment can erase the value you already carry inside yourself. There are people who fail to recognize loyalty, honesty, effort, and genuine love until it is gone. That does not mean those qualities were meaningless. Never. Or shrink yourself trying to fit into someone else's limited understanding of your worth. The right people will never make you constantly question your importance in their life. Real connections bring appreciation, respect, consistency, and emotional security. The moment you stop seeking approval from people who fail to value you is the moment your confidence starts returning stronger than before. The greatest victory after heartbreak is not getting revenge, proving a point, or making someone or regret losing you. The real victory is becoming stronger because of what you survived. Pain can either break a person or build them into someone wiser, more disciplined, and mentally stronger. Many people allow heartbreak to destroy their motivation, confidence, and purpose, but others use that same pain as fuel for transformation. The difference is mindset. One person stays trapped in sadness while another decides to grow from the experience and create a better version of themselves. Every difficult season in life carries an opportunity to evolve. Emotional pain forces you to confront weaknesses you may have ignored before. It teaches you emotional control, patience, boundaries, self-respect, and resilience. Sometimes heartbreak becomes the moment you finally focus on yourself seriously. You begin improving your habits, protecting your energy, strengthening your mindset, and becoming more disciplined with your goals. The pain that once distracted you can eventually become the reason you become more focused than ever before. Growth after disappointment is one of the most powerful forms of success because it proves you refuse to stay broken. Instead of wasting years chasing closure, revenge, or validation, strong people redirect their energy toward building a better life. They stop obsessing over who hurt them and start becoming someone they are proud of. Healing is not about pretending the pain never happened. Healing is about refusing to let the pain control your future. There will come a day when you look back and realize the experience that almost destroyed you actually made you stronger. The nights of confusion, heartbreak, and emotional exhaustion taught you lessons that comfort never could. You became more aware, more mature, and more protective of your peace. Some chapters in life hurt deeply, but they also shape character. Never allow pain to convince you that your story is over. Sometimes the most painful endings create the strongest comebacks.